White starts his game by playing e2 pawn to e4 square. Black responds by playing his e7 pawn to e5 square, blocking White's e4 pawn. White attacks e5 pawn by moving his g1 knight to f3 square. Black defends his e5 pawn by moving his b8 knight to c6 square. White moves his f1 bishop to c4 square for castling purpose as well as attacking f7 square. Black moves his f8 bishop to c5 square similar to white. Now white moves c2 pawn to c3 square to control the center. Black moves g8 knight to f6 square to attack f4 pawn. White moves his d2 pawn to center d4 square to attack c5 bishop. Black takes this attacking d4 pawn with his e5 pawn. White takes back d4 pawn with his c3 pawn. Black moves his c5 bishop to b4 square, giving check to white king. White defends bishop check by moving his b1 knight to c3 square. c3 knight is pinned by b4 bishop attack. It is further attacked by f6 knight by taking pawn at e4. White protects his king by castling on king side. Black's b4 bishop takes c3 knight in support of f4 knight. White moves his center d4 pawn to d5 square attacking c6 knight. Black saves his c3 bishop by moving to f6 square. White moves his f1 rook to e1 square to pin the e4 knight. Black saves his c6 knight by moving to e7 square. White's e1 rook takes the helpless e4 knight. Black decides to enter his king into kingside castling. Now white moves further d5 pawn to d6 square in support of queen attacking knight e7. Black takes this d6 pawn with his c7 pawn. White's queen at d1 square takes this d6 pawn and attacks e7 knight. Knight in e7 square moves f5 square attacking back on queen at d6. White's queen in d6 square moves to d5 square attacking back f5 knight. Black plays d7 pawn to d6 square to open bishop white diagonal to protect knight at f5 by bishop at c1. White plays f3 knight to g5 square to triple attack f7 pawn with queen, bishop and knight. Black's bishop in f3 square takes this attacking knight in g4 square. White's bishop in c1 square takes black's bishop in g5 square and attacks queen at d8. Black's queen in d8 square takes the bishop in g5 square. Now white's queen in d5 square takes the f7 pawn in support of bishop at c4 and gives check to king at g8. Rook f8 takes queen at f7 and gets pinned by bishop at c4. Rook e4 moves to e8 square, gives check to king mate.